Welcome to the March 2020 edition of Outlook Video, your nationally recognized, award-winning program for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender communities. I'm Roberta Gonzalez-Craig.
And I'm Raymond Donald Hong. This month, Gabrielle Antolovich will be interviewing Kyle Matsumoto Burch. The Asian LGBT community in the South Bay have been benefiting from Kyle's leadership in bringing the community together. Kyle Matsumoto Burch is a Hapa guy born on the Big Island of Hawaii. His Japanese mother and English father divorced before he was born, and he was raised by his Japanese family. Kyle and his husband enjoy participating in South Bay Queer and Asian, Gay Asian Pacific Alliance, and Asian and Friends events throughout the Bay Area. Kyle is also the recent past president and current secretary of SBQA, serving the LGBTQ+ Asian and Pacific Islander community in Silicon Valley. He also will talk about the history of SBQA and the importance of having the younger generation take leadership positions to maintain the longevity of the organization. More on that later in the half hour.
Every Friday night at the San Mateo County Pride Center hosts fun, entertaining events like movie night, where people can come together and build community. One reoccurring event is You Better Work Comedy Fiesta, hosted by Jesus You Better Work. I was there for their February show and caught up with Jesus, a couple of comedians, and the San Mateo County Pride Center staff. Stay tuned for more of that later in the show.
South Bay Queer and Asian is the premier Asian LGBTQ organization in the San Jose area. SBQA is known for their annual events such as potlucks for Lunar New Year, Thanksgiving, summer picnics, camping trips, and Obon festivals. They host rap sessions at the Billy DeFrank Center on the second and fourth Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Gabrielle will interview SBQA current president Ron Corre and vice president Ann Liu.
Ron is currently a graduate student working on his license as a marriage family therapist. He is currently working as a mental health social worker with the Health Trust and participates on their wellness committee. He is also affiliated with other LGBTQ organizations like GAPA and now the current president of SBQA.
And Lou was an intern and volunteer for the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ+ Community Center, where they found their passion in helping the queer population and joined South Bay Queer and Asian beginning of 2019 and became one of the facilitators for their support group. Shortly after, they realized that embracing their Asian heritage and queerness are not mutually exclusive, and is the new vice president for SBQA.
Let's start this month's show with Gabrielle's interview with Kyle Matsumoto Burch on leadership in the LGBTQ community.
Welcome to Outlook Video. I'm Gabrielle Antolovich, and I'm here with Kyle Matsumoto Burch, who is with South Bay Queer and Asian and has been for a very long time. It's an organization that's been going for 28 years.
28 years.
How did that happen?
Well, the history goes back even further than that, because it began as a support group for LGBTQ Asian Pacific Islanders, I believe at San Jose State. And then from San Jose State, it moved over to the Billy DeFrank Center. And it started out purely as a support group, as a therapeutic support group to help people who are processing coming out, different ways to be able to speak to their parents, and then it kind of grew into talking about other issues as well, and then became a social organization. So yes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once you come out, then you want to do something with that.
Right.
Yeah. So how did you get involved?
Well, my husband and I, when we moved to San Jose, we were looking for an organization that we could work with and help out and make new friends. And so we just started attending the events. And then it was time to make a change in the leadership, and I was invited to become the president at that time, to become the president of SBQA.
So did you change the organization in any way as president?
It's interesting you'd say that.
Did
Actually,
I touch a nerve?
No, you didn't. But what happened when I came in, SBQA had gotten this reputation for being an old men's club. So there weren't any women really that were participating. There was maybe one woman that was participating. And that really wasn't part of the charter. That's just the natural development as people started making friends, and it just became more like a club or a clique. And so when I came in, I thought, well, one of the main objectives that I would need to approach is that, because old men only live so long. And if,
oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, you know.
I know.
So if you hold to that, then eventually the organization would die. And there was still a lot of viability. The reason for it to be is very important. And there were a lot of people within Silicon Valley who could access the resource that is SBQA. So we wanted to be able to promote the support group, which continues to this day. But we also wanted to look at how the social events need to change. So at one time, 28 years ago, when there was no real internet, they needed a place to, find their husbands, right? Or partners, I should say. And
husbands and wives.
Husbands and wives.
Yeah.
Their part.
This is before the non-binary days.
Yes, that's true. But that was really the only way that you could find a date or a partner, is if you participated in an LGBTQ organization. Nowadays, that's really not that big of a deal. So if you're an LGBTQ organization, you need to move beyond the dating service. And so that's really what we had to move beyond. So we basically got in touch with our roots, which is to be supportive, to be able to create the support group, work with the support group, work with both men and women, non-binary, transgender, to broaden the experience of what we mean when we say LGBTQ. Also to accept the fact that we're Pan-Asian in Silicon Valley. My family is Japanese, and so I grew up in the Japanese ghetto of San Jose, up on Jackson and Fifth, around in that area.
It's still there.
And it's still there, but and I still live there. But we have a lot more variation. We have, of course, the Vietnamese community is very strong. Filipino community is very strong. Chinese, Taiwanese, and mainland Chinese,
and Korean,
yeah. And the Malaysian Chinese group. I mean, we have a large sampling of different.
And you can see that at your events, like at the Lunar New Year's
which we just
event,
did.
Yeah, which you've had at the Billy DeFrank Center.
We're committed to the Billy DeFrank Center because we see it as a very important part of the San Jose community. And as an organization, SBQA is committed to doing what they can, to support the Billy DeFrank Center. Of course, we have our support group there twice a month, on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month in the evening. And we have facilitators, professional facilitators who have backgrounds in behavioral science, psychology, interns from different universities that will come and help with that with us.
And you have passed on the gavel to a younger generation. What was that about?
Well,
real quick.
Again, we had to change. In order for the organization to have a future, we needed to think of what leadership meant in my generation to be different. So what I did is I resigned from being president, and I accepted being secretary because I think I could help out more as a secretary and as treasurer with those nuts and bolts stuff, and then work to promote younger people to the position of president and vice president, and then we could help mentor them so that they can take over. And that's really what we want to do, is to have younger people take over the organization so the organization will be able to continue.
Great, thank you so much. And that's a really big thing, is passing it on to the younger generation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it is it's important. And I think that sometimes, especially with people in my age group, we have a lot invested in our own ego needs and our own career goals and what have you. And then we have a tendency to hold on to power. And so when we're in a position of power, and that doesn't work. When we're talking about a civic organization, social organization such as this, if we continue to act in that way, the organization will die when we die.
Exactly. And it won't, because you've passed it on.
Right.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm Beverly McClellan, and you're watching Outlook Video.
Okay. Outlook Video joins Jesus You Better Work at the San Mateo Pride for its comedy Fiesta, which now is happening here at this lovely venue every third Friday of the month. Join us for a wonderful comedy and fun time tonight.
My condition is called idiopathic neutropenia, because of course I have a condition that sounds like idiot, pathetic, neutral penis. Basically, my body can't fight bacteria very well, so I get sick a lot. This past year, I lost 90 pounds. Because I'm sick. You monsters. No, it's okay. I intentionally tricked you guys with that one. You don't have to feel too guilty. Because I did. I told my mom that I was a feminist, and she started crying, and she said, Maria, why don't you like men? I was like, Mom, I said feminist, not lesbian. And she was like, what's the difference?
And so, what got you started into comedy?
It was what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I always really liked watching comedy, stand-up comedy, and it seemed fun, and I liked being funny. So I finally, at some point, just started doing it.
Yes? And where do you draw most of your material?
From real life, from my personal experiences, or things that I observe around me.
Yes?
And I'm really excited to be back at this show because I had taken a 5-year break from comedy, because I first started about 10 years ago, and this was the first show that I did when I came back about a year ago. So it's nice to come back, and hopefully I'm better this time around than last time.
I was going to ask, did you feel that hiatus helped you with some of your comic routines?
I think a little bit. I think that for any kind of art, sometimes it's good to take a break and just gain more life experience outside of it, and then you create more material out of that.
And it sounds like it's healing too.
It absolutely is. I think it forces you to find yourself. And I would say that's probably something that's true of a lot of art and artists, is you discover yourself through your art, and I would say that that's a big thing I get out of comedy.
I travel around a lot. Was just in Vegas, and I tell you, I thought Vegas was going to be fun from a show perspective, like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I'm going to tell you what happened in Vegas. I was called the F word by an audience member, and I go, you guys know the F word, it's the one that means gay derogatorily, kind of rhymes with baguette, just a little less French, and I was doing a gay joke because I'm a one-trick pony, and someone from the audience was like, oh yeah, well, you're a baguette and you're going to hell. And I should have been upset, okay, just like you guys are, but instead I started laughing, because I was like, I'm sorry, sir, this is Vegas. We are all going to hell, okay? Okay, what I may or may not be doing with my butt later on tonight is the least sinful thing that's happening on the strip, for sure, okay, for sure. Fucking Chris Angel, he's got a show right down the street. He's definitely going to hell. He's a witch. Okay, he's a witch. He made a Lamborghini disappear one time, okay? At best, I can make like, dick disappear, okay.
My life based, and it's observational, but I think it's more social. People ask a lot if I'm political because politics are just everywhere these days.
It's funny. I love doing stand up. It's great when I do stand up in front of a beautiful audience such as yourselves. But it really sucks when that information spills out on a very first date, because inevitably the person I'm on a date with is always like, "Oh my God, you're a comedian? Well, tell me a joke." And I'm always like, "Tell you a joke, That's just like me meeting Chris Brown for the very first time. Like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. You mind socking me in the throat right quick? Well, I love a good headlock. Yeah, it does. Just things I see in life, things I come across that I think are funny, things people say, things people do. I draw it all from personal experience, and so just try to pull the funny out of the things that happen on a daily basis.
If you haven't noticed, on February 18th of 2020, on the San Mateo Daily Journal appeared yours truly, Jesus, you better work. But plug that Jesus Fuentes. That's cool. No, I'm very appreciative. But I want to read a little bit to you. The comedian Jesus Fuentes, better known by his stage name, Jesus, you better work. It's also my backstage name, yes. Is, let's see, the man behind the You Better Work comedy, Fiesta stand-up comedy extravaganza. Not funny. But yes, I am a proud member of the LGBTQIA, LMNOPQRSTUV community. Pick a letter and take a seat. We'll be with you shortly, as I always like to point out at the, wherever is applicable. Like the sports bars, where occasionally I'll get a comedy set and perform for a predominantly cisgender, male, heterosexual identified crowd. And of course, they totally get me. And after those straight guys have had enough drinks, I totally get them, straight up and on the rocks.
We are here with Jesus. You better work. Oh my.
The rumors are true.
Yes. Okay. You are just as handsome in person. Those are the rumors you're speaking of, no?
That's one of them. Yeah, there's a lot of other ones. I mean, we won't talk about the ones about being ugly.
We're here, and we're also here at the San Mateo Pride Center.
Yes.
To which the You Better Work comedy Fiesta has taken on its monthly venue.
Yes, we have been here at the San Mateo County Pride Center. We moved because, we had the pleasure of Outlook Video being with us a little over a year ago at a different venue here in San Mateo. But we are now here at the San Mateo County Pride Center as of October 2018.
And shall this now be the new home?
This has been the home since, so as long as they'll have us,
yes,
and tolerate me and my repeated jokes, then we are at home here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it's so the You Better Work Comedy Fiesta, as we said, back in, I think it was like August 2018, somewhere around there with Outlook Video. So it started at the Brainwash Cafe, which is now no longer in existence, up in San Francisco, where a lot of comics, it was a stop for everyone.
Yes.
New, kind of sort of there, and seasoned comedians. Mm-hmm. And so we started there, and that was back in 2015, and then we made our way down the peninsula, because that's where I'm from. The rumors are true.
And the peninsula's happy to have you.
Yeah. And we've made a stop in Redwood City, San Mateo previously at another venue, and now San Mateo County Pride Center. And we've been here, now over a year. So, this space feels great and right.
And what also something that you mentioned about this space is that it's a safe place. What do you mean by a safe place?
What I would say a safe space is, where you can come in and you can be holding the hand of whoever you consider your significant other to be, and not worry about any threats or anything bad happening as a result. Yes. You can cuddle with them while you listen to some jokes, and also just be who you are. Be your real self.
So what can we look forward to? I guess it's every third Friday of the month, correct?
Yeah, so our show, the You Better Work Comedy Fiesta, is every third Friday of the month. Always a different lineup. 7:30 p.m., pay what you can. And of course, no one turned away for lack of funds.
We love to get mail from you. Email us at comments@outlookvideo.org.
To contact us by phone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Visit our website at outlookvideo.org.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/outlookvideo.
And connect with us at facebook.com/outlookvideo.
Welcome back to Outlook Video. I'm Gabrielle Antolovich, and we have the new generation for South Bay Queer and Asian. We have our new president, Ron Corre, and vice president, Ann Liu.
Hi.
So how does it feel?
Feels awesome. It feels great.
I feel very honored, especially for an organization that's that's 28 years old. Like we started in 1992, and I wasn't even born in 1992.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in 96. So, yeah. So just to think that, like an organization like this, we're pretty big, that already exists before I was even born. I don't know. It's kind of surreal for me. Now that I'm being vice president, it's even more unbelievable.
Right. And I know you've only been in this position just a few days, really. But has it begun to change you already?
That's a good question. I think when it comes to me personally, just expanding my vision and how we can support the community, how we can empower them, and how we can make them feel like we're one big happy family. Long story short, it's all about giving back. For me, this is a personal story about being able to give back what I was given when I was younger.
Really? Were you part of this when you were younger?
I was for a short bit, but I actually explored other groups as well. But I'm here now, and that's what matters today.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've got a sense of responsibility now.
It is. It is.
And so young. How does it feel for you, Anne?
Like again, it's unbelievable, and I don't know. It's crazy how if I was 12 years old in Vietnam and I knew about SBQA, I think I would have a lot more hope for myself as well, because like back in Vietnam, I felt like I was different. I'm unlike anybody else, and I feel like I didn't belong anywhere. Just be able to know that there's a great organization like SBQA across the globe, even though they're in the U.S. Just knowing that something like that exists, I think that would have helped me, get through a lot of tough times when I was a kid. And I think that's what I want to be able to do for the future generation, like especially the queer Asian population, because even though it's 2020, but queerness is still kind of like a taboo topic.
Yeah.
Especially in a lot of like Asian culture. So I want to be able to educate, the Asian population about LGBTQ, and also about mental health as well, because that's what we're focusing on, emphasizing our mental wellness in our community. So that's what I hope I'll be able to do.
Right. And you're dealing with not just being Asian, but also LGBTQ. How does that come together for you?
That's a great question. I think
because you were volunteering at the Billy DeFrank Center as well, and and working through identity issues.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember when you recommended me to try to check out SBQA. It took me probably 5 months to finally be able to.
Really?
Yeah. I remember you told me I think one of the very first day I started at Billy DeFrank, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I didn't do it until 5 months later. I don't know. I guess I just felt like at first I felt like, why do I need to go to, a group session for South Bay Queer and Asian? Yeah, I'm Asian, but what does that have to do with being queer? But then I guess I don't know why did I don't even know why did I decided to check out SBQA, but I do really appreciate its existence, because thanks to SBQA, I was able to I guess embrace both my Asian and my queerness, and I was able to bring my family into it as well, be able to get my family to know more about SBQA and connect more with my family, to talk to my family about SBQA more. So I think it's great.
Is that an experience you've had, bringing the two together?
Yeah, definitely. I actually came to America when I was only 5 years old.
Ooh.
So I was an immigrant, pretty much, and just trying to juggle what does it mean to be Asian American or Asian? What does that mean to me? And on top of that was the whole queer factor as well. Just finding
queer factor.
Right, the queer factor.
I like that.
The Asian queer factor.
Yeah.
So just juggling that and just trying to find my own identity, and on top of that, being young and being exposed to different things. Like, I was a product of the 90s. So these days I look around and I'm like, dude, I wish I had an SBQA when I was like, 18, 19. Yeah. It was around, but I wasn't really aware of all the benefits of what SBQA can offer folks who enter SBQA today. It's like so much more than just a support group or a group in general.
Well, there's the Lunar New Year.
Yes.
I mean, that is an amazing event.
We had over 110 people.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
And we got more, and we definitely got more women and trans people to join us this year.
And younger folks too.
See?
Yeah.
See the influence you're already having. And the other thing too is all you have to do is be who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And just show up.
Yeah.
Right.
And that in itself is such a great help.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you
Appreciate
so much, and we will have to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this month's edition of Outlook Video. You can watch extended versions of our segments and archive past programs on Outlook Video's YouTube channel at youtube.com/OutlookVideo. Be sure to click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell for notifications of our latest videos.
Also, friend us on Facebook at facebook.com/OutlookVideo. Outlook Video is made possible by generous donations from viewers like you and talented volunteers behind the camera whose names you'll see as we close. And if you live in the Bay Area and would like to volunteer at Outlook Video, contact us through our Facebook page. We close this program with more laughter from BettaWork Comedy Fiesta. And from all of us here at Outlook Video, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.
Bye for now.
Let's have a Puerto Rican meteorologist. Sounds good, right? Pero no. Then they go and dress her, right? What? Red shoes, purple belt, green earrings. Because Latinos can't do anything unless we're dressed in 14 Fiesta colors. And then what else has to happen? Any person of color. What happens? We gotta dance our way through that shit, right? Am I right? Here's how I think it would happen. Today is going to be muy caliente. Let's go over here to the weather map y a ver qué pasa. Look at this. I'm telling you, look at this. Get ready for tropical storm La Puta. Oh, she's going to be a wet one.